Hi everybody, and thank you for listening to this edition of the 15 Minutes with True Crime podcast, where we speak to people who are incarcerated across the country in hopes that their stories and their experiences will not only enlighten people here on the outside, but will hopefully deter people from breaking the law or getting involved with the criminal justice system or possibly winding up in jail or prison themselves. There are a lot of shows out there on the various platforms like Anchor, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and others who say that their listeners are important to them. Well, let me tell you, each and every one of you listening to me right now, you are extremely important to both myself and this podcast. Not just for your questions and comments, but for your show suggestions, and especially for your suggestions on people who we should interview. In this segment, we're going to do the first of 2 episodes where we speak to Dinah Horn, who is currently serving a sentence of life without parole for her part in the murder of a woman named Sherri Dally in Ventura County, California in May of 1996. Sherri was handcuffed and abducted from a Target department store parking lot by a person appearing to be a female store security officer. Just under a month later, Sherri's dismembered body would be discovered in a ravine just north of Ventura, and the investigation almost immediately focused not only on Dinah Haun, but on Sherri Dally's husband, Michael Dally, as well. Michael, who police and prosecutors describe as the mastermind and manipulator behind this heinous crime, is also currently serving life without parole. He is currently serving his sentence at the California State Prison in Los Angeles County. Michael is also welcome to contact this show, and we will put his side of things out there if he so wishes. First, I'd like to say thank you to the listener who asked us to reach out and ask Dinah and try to interview her. And a special thanks to Michelle and the women at CCWF, as well as Dinah's family, who helped make this interview possible as well. Also, a special thanks to the California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation for letting the interview actually happen. It should be noted that Dinah was asked by the TV show Dateline to tell her part of what happened. However, in Dinah's words, that did not occur, so after some careful thought, she offered to tell her side of the story to you, our listeners, on this show. As I said earlier, this is part 1 of 2 episodes where we will hear just that, Dinah's version of what occurred. This did not come out in court, as she did not testify, and it certainly did not come out in the Dateline piece. Before we get started, a special hello to Patty, Sean, David, Kendra, Nicole. Hi to Cassie, Vincent, and Aiden. Hi to Jack at American Medical Response in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and to Mike and everyone at the West Haven Fire Department. Hello, and thank you to the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, the West Haven, Connecticut Police Department, as well as the Apple Valley Police Department in Minnesota. Thank you for all of your cooperation on both past and upcoming episodes, but especially thank you all for putting your asses on the line to keep our community safe. Your bravery can never be fully appreciated. Stay safe out there, please. If you like this show and you'd like to see it continue and get better, please donate to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. Once again, that is paypal.me/JOETOMASO. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or if you want to suggest or ask that we interview someone just like the listener who did so with this episode, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Again, that email address is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Or you can snail mail us at P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut 06516. Also, keep your eyes open for our soon-to-come Patreon page, as well as our upcoming website, which will be up soon at www.15 15minuteswithpodcast.com. Again, that address is going to be www.15minuteswithpodcast.com. Now, with all that out of the way, let's hear Dinah Horn tell us her story in her own words. Here we go.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Dinah.
An inmate at the Central California Women's Facility, Chowchilla, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
5.
For using Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Hi. Can you please say your name and where you're calling me from?
My name is Diana Haun, and I'm calling from Central California Women's Facility in California.
What were you charged with? What were you sentenced for? And what's your sentence?
I was charged with murder with special circumstances, and I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.
How long have you been in prison for right now?
24 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you stepped into prison for the first time?
When I got here, one of the ladies that I came up here with, she fell out of the Suburban, and we have chain shackles on our feet and everything. And so it got caught on the rail. You know how you slide the seat up, and we were in the back seat, so we were trying to get out.
Right.
The deputy that was supposed to help us out had to catch the girl, and so she fell. And because we're shackled, you know, our waist is shackled also, you didn't even have a chance to catch herself, and she fell face first on the asphalt floor, and her teeth went through her lip. So it was horrible, and that was my first experience when I got here.
Let me ask you, was that the sheriff's department that took you up there, or was that the actual prison itself?
It was our county.
Okay, so you were going from county, from getting sentenced up to the prison. Okay, I got you.
Right.
So a lot of people see shows on TV, you know, these shows like 60 Days In, Lock Up Raw, you know, prison stuff is like, a lot of people watch this stuff now. So these shows are pretty sanitized. They don't show what goes on, you know, for the most part inside. It's pretty tame. Would you say that prison is more like a college campus, or would you say that prison is actually dangerous at times?
I've been on a college campus, and prison is not like that. It is dangerous at times, and not only can you get beat up by your fellow inmates, but correctional officers here that'll beat you with their batons, and they'll slam your fingers in the doors, or they'll throw you on the floor.
So let me ask you a question, because a lot of the prisons, like here in Connecticut, federal as well, the officers don't carry weapons. So at your facility, they actually carry batons?
Yeah, they have batons, pepper spray.
Yeah, see, a lot of places don't do that out this way. So what would you say to young people, or anybody in general, you know, that's on the outside right now? They're getting themselves in trouble. They're getting involved with the system. What would you tell them about winding up in prison?
That it's not someplace you want to go. It's dangerous. You're taken away from your family and your friends. You lose a lot of your life. You lose all your privileges and all your freedom and privacy.
Let me ask you, I mean, I've had people tell me before, you know, a lot of people actually, that you know, you don't realize how free you are and what you have on the outside until you're in prison, and then you realize just the difference.
Right. Yeah. There's no privacy at all here.
Yeah. Actually, I spoke to one of the girls, and I guess you guys are in, 8-person rooms over there?
Right,
And everything's there, your shower, your bathroom, everything. You sleep, eat, the whole thing in there.
Right.
So here's the part where I spoke to you, and we had wanted to get out your story. I know that you were interviewed on Dateline a while back, or 2020, and that they also said they wanted to get your story out, but they didn't let you get your story out. So I want you to tell me in your own words about you. Tell me about your story and how you went up on the inside.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm a shy nerd. Before I came to prison, I had low self-esteem, and I used to joke around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got here, I found that you have to be very careful who you joke around with. And to summarize how I got in here is, well, I met Mike when I was working at Bonds,
Mm-hmm.
and we became friends. And then he would vent to me about how badly his wife treated him and his kids. And then he told me he didn't want to marry her. He said his father wanted him to, and so
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
he ultimately married her because he respected his father and whatever his father wanted him to. So I felt sorry for him.
Mm-hmm.
But then other times, he would tell me that he was part of the Mexican mafia and he did a lot of bad things. And things that he told me he did sounded way out there,
Right.
Like, some things. And I thought he was, like, totally exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
Because who really does that? So, as our relationship grew, he was more upset about how badly he was treated, and sometimes he'd be in tears when he talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this coworker, his name was Jason.
Okay.
I really disliked him, and he said he wanted to give him a blanket party.
You wanted to give Mike the blanket party, or Mike wanted to give Jason the blanket party?
Right, he wanted to give Jason a
Okay, I gotcha.
And so I didn't know what that was,
Mm-hmm.
And he said that's when you put a blanket over someone, then you beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him, not to hurt Jason.
Mm-hmm.
So then a few months later, Mike tells me that he wants to play a prank on Jason. And he assured me that he wasn't going to hurt him, he was just going to scare him.
Okay.
So he said he needed some stuff for me to get for him to do this prank.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew I was a practical joker, and I'd help him. So he asked me to get him a suitish outfit, some for a big girl, and some shoes and a wig and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
And he never told me exactly what the prank was, but
Right.
I figured it was a prank for having somebody go and tell Jason some about his child support.
Mm-hmm.
He's always complaining about child support payments.
Right.
And then he asked me to rent him a car because he said Jason would recognize his van.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't let me go with him, but when he finished the prank, he parked the car inside of my house. And then later he called me and he asked me to lunch with him that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said we could take the rental back. So on my way to meeting him, I noticed there was like a bad smell, and it was coming from the back seat area.
Mm-hmm.
But since Mike never told me what the prank was, I couldn't even imagine what that smell was.
Right.
And at the time it was irritating because the rental was in my name, so I'd have to clean it up before we returned it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on top of that, he paged me. It was back when there was pagers, no cell phones.
Right.
Yeah, and so he just wanted me to tell me that he canceled our lunch date, and he said that his wife was not home, and that he had to take care of the daycare kids. Then the next day, he told me that his wife had left him and the kids, and that he put in a missing person because she was gone all night.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, the police wanted to talk to her. And so Mike was telling me that the police had been trying to get him some things that he had done in the past.
Okay.
And so if I told the police what Mike had wanted me, what he wanted me to buy him for him,
Mm-hmm.
and it would look really, really bad for Mike. So I made a big mistake of protecting him.
Right.
So I just lied about some of the stuff. And So the police asked for my fingerprints, blood samples, DNA, hair samples.
Mm-hmm.
They also wanted me to take a polygraph test.
Okay.
Passed the test. And while I was being interrogated, some guy came in and he goes, "We know you didn't do this, but my boss needs to put somebody away." And then he leaves. And then later on I was arrested. And then I was released for a few days, after a few days, because there was lack of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a month later, I was arrested again. And then the trial was all over the news. And my side was never told because my public defender told me not to tell anybody anything about my case.
Right. Basically, they probably told you not to talk about anything to anybody.
Right. Yeah, but then at the end, when he was asking me about getting on the stand, I said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go on the stand."
Mm-hmm.
He advised me not to get on the stand. So even though there was no concrete direct evidence to prove that I was at the crime scene,
Mm-hmm.
without taking the stand, the only thing the jury heard was circumstantial evidence.
Well, I got to ask you a question because I recently watched a couple of videos. I haven't seen the 2020 interview. I did a little reading up. In the video...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
In the video that I watched on YouTube, what it had said was that, and this could be just somebody's interpretation, that they actually saw a female, which... it's possible because that's what the wig and stuff was. That was at I guess it was a Target store, and that they had seen a female there. So that wasn't you. That was either Mike or somebody else dressed up. You're saying.
Right.
Okay. And the car was rented in your name. Now, did you pick the car up or did Mike pick the car up? How did that work?
Well, I picked it up and then put it. He called me up. He said, "Put it on the side of the house."
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of his and him were going to come pick it up.
Okay, I got you. Now, after you got convicted, did you try appealing or anything?
Yeah, I did try an appeal, and it went all the way up to, I guess, the 9th district.
Okay.
District, and I'm still fighting.
So now I'm going to ask you a question because in this edition, are you calling back again or no?
Yeah, I was able to sign up for 10:30.
That'll work. Okay. I was asking because we're actually about a minute before this is going to cut us off. So my question to you is, after all this happened and, you obviously, you appealed, it sounded to me like, or at least in the videos I've seen and some stuff, that you actually had a relationship with Mike. Is that true or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems from certain things that you would watch that maybe he was playing on your emotions. Is any of that true?
Yeah, because I had real low self-esteem, so back then he could have, and plus, I was a nerd. And
right.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And so I most of the stuff that I learned from books,
right,
school, and that kind of thing. So being manipulated by guys and that kind of stuff wasn't something that I learned.
Right. So this is going to cut us off. Before it does, I'm going to lock this out. I want to have you give me a call back at 10. Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes With. I hope you've enjoyed this edition. If you have enjoyed this edition of 15 Minutes With, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You can also help me keep this show going and watch it get better by donating to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That address again is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. 15 Minutes With is constantly looking for new content to upload and new people to interview. If you would like to share your story or if there's someone you would like to see us interview, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. That email address again is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Last but not least, again, if you like to support this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, we'll be seeing you